Benefits of nature. How long do you spend each day outside? According to a 2016 Nielsen Total Audience report, that amount has significantly decreased for the majority of Americans, because of our growing dependence on technology and the global trend toward urban living. Many people are spending less time outside. Exposure to nature has been linked to a number of advantages, from taking a stroll through a city park to going on a day hike in the wilderness. These advantages have psychological benefits including better attention, less stress, better moods, a lower risk of developing psychiatric disorders, and even increases in empathy and cooperation. The majority of studies to date has been on green areas like parks and woods, but now scientists are starting to look into the advantages of blue spaces, or locations with views of the ocean and rivers. However, because nature comes in a variety of forms and sizes, psychological study is still developing our knowledge of its potential advantages. According to Lisa Nisbet, PhD, a psychologist at Trent University in Ontario, Canada, who specializes in exploring our connection to nature. There is accumulating evidence from dozens and dozens of researchers that nature provides benefits for both physical and psychological human well-being. Walking in nature, even urban nature, might improve your mood. And even when you're not actively immersed in nature, your sense of connection to the natural world tends to enhance happiness. Cognitive benefits. Green spaces near schools promote cognitive development in children, and green views near children's homes promote self-control behaviors. Compared to adults assigned to public housing units with less access to natural surroundings, individuals living in communities with greater green space displayed improved attentional functioning. Additionally, studies show that exposure to natural settings enhances working memory, cognitive flexibility, and attentional control, whereas exposure to urban settings is associated with attention deficiencies. As Nisbet and colleagues described in their study of the advantages of connection with nature, researchers have put up a variety of theories to explain such findings. In the context of the evolutionary theory, the biophilia hypothesis contends that because early ancestors lived in the wild and were dependent on their surroundings to survive, we are naturally drawn to the natural world. According to the stress reduction hypothesis, being in nature causes a physiological reaction that reduces stress. According to a third view, one's cognitive resources are replenished by being in nature, which restores one's capacity for focus and attention. There could be several things at play in the reality. According to Nisbet, stress reduction and attention restoration are connected. Both of these hypotheses have received a lot of attention from experts due to the social issues with stress that we are currently facing. According to experimental results, even a little period of greenery can revive a brain that is feeling run down. In one instance, Australian researchers gave pupils an unpleasant, time-consuming activity that required them to push a computer key when specific numbers displayed on a screen. Students who paused for 40 seconds to stare at a concrete rooftop mid-task made much more mistakes than students who looked out at a blossoming green roof. Sounds of nature. Even nature sounds can be restorative. Berman and colleagues discovered that study participants who listened to natural sounds, such as crickets singing and waves crashing, outperformed those who listened to urban noises, such as traffic and the bustle of a popular cafe, on difficult cognitive tests. Nature and happiness. Although such laboratory studies are fascinating, Cynthia France, PhD, a professor of psychology and environmental studies at Oberlin College in Ohio, claims that they fall short of capturing the wide range of advantages that come along with time spent outside. Time spent in nature has cognitive benefits, but it also has emotional and existential benefits, she says, that go beyond merely being able to answer arithmetic problems quicker. Gregory Bratman, PhD, an assistant professor at the University of Washington, and colleagues reviewed the research and presented evidence showing that exposure to nature is linked to improvements in mental distress as well as happiness, subjective well-being, positive affect, positive social interactions, and a sense of meaning and purpose in life. According to other research, when kids spend time outside, it has an impact. In a study of Danes, researchers assessed people's exposure to green space from birth to age 10 using satellite data, and they contrasted this information with longitudinal data on people's individual mental health outcomes. Green and blue spaces. It's clear that getting outside is good for us. Now, scientists are working to determine what types of environments are best. Much attention has gone to green spaces, but White has studied a variety of marine and freshwater environments and found these blue spaces are also good for well-being. In fact, he says, they may even be slightly more restorative than green spaces. Trekking to isolated areas could also be worthwhile. After visiting rural and coastal sites, people reported feeling more connected to nature and more rejuvenated than they did after spending time in urban green spaces, according to a survey of 4,515 UK. In other work, White and his colleagues found that people who watched nature videos with a diverse mix of flora and fauna reported lower anxiety, more vitality and better mood than those who watched videos featuring less biodiverse landscapes. Key points. Spending time in nature has been related to increases in mood, mental health, and emotional well-being as well as cognitive benefits. Regardless matter how much time one spends outdoors, experiencing a connection to nature can have similar positive effects on well-being. Both green and blue, aquatic settings, places improve well-being. Even urban parks and trees can have beneficial effects. However, more secluded and biodiverse settings may be especially beneficial.